Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast.
What is up, guys? And today we have a very, very great episode in store for you. This was an idea I had, and it's mostly based off of, you know, for our Brantsteele, sometimes I see some things and I'm like, oh man, it would be fun to bring this one. And I watch a lot of sitcoms. And so, as Joe being the funny man he is as well, and I was like, dude, why don't we do a sitcom based one? Because there's so many great characters that we can pull from, because there's so many sitcoms out there.
Mhm.
And so, this is our Survivor sitcom edition.
Yep.
Yeah,
What a way to start off Series 5 too. It's got
this is
a lot
this
to go
is
on it. So yeah.
Yeah. And this was a tough one in the sense of like having to narrow it down to like 10 people per person. Like, because I watch a lot of sitcoms and there were so many people I was considering, but I was like, probably should. Like I had to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, same. Yeah, there's like I thought about bringing Frank Reynolds, but I just couldn't find any space for him after I had already gotten the guys together. And I was like, I don't want to cut any of these guys now.
Yeah. Even if you can see, I have the Vanua tribe. Uh, George and Robert Barone kind of have a similar kind of archetype, but I love both of them so much, and they offer something different. So it was tough. I like these were the first two I thought of for this. Like even then,
Mhm.
it was a challenging one to like because we wanted included more, but alas. So who knows? Maybe there might be a sitcom two in the future. But until then, let's appreciate the awesomeness of sitcom one.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, let's just hop into it. Take it away.
All right. First up, we have from Abbott Elementary, Ava Coleman. Now, Ava is an influencer that is pretty much the principal of Abbott Elementary, and that's mostly because she got it through not conventional means. She is not qualified for her job. She rarely has like a moment where she's like good with kids and stuff like that, but mostly she just kind of like puts down the fashion of the main protagonist, Janine, and basically hits on Tyler James Williams' character. And yeah, she's just a lot of fun. She has a lot of energy. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen Abbott or no?
So I have a confession to make.
You
I
haven't?
don't like Abbott Elementary.
You don't?
No.
How
It's
come?
so I think that if it came out like 10 years ago, I might like it. But the thing is that the sitcom genre has just evolved way more, and it just feels like there's so much trying to be like how sitcoms were in the past. That it just feels like they kind of took the formula of The Office and they just kind of put it into a school district and said, "Here we go. This is now The Office in a school district." Yeah, I watched the pilots and I didn't laugh at all. I didn't find any of the jokes funny. And I just felt like the characters were, as I said, it felt like they were just copying and pasting characters from
You
that show.
just saw the pilot.
Yeah, but apparently that pilot episode was what won them a fucking Emmy. So if Emmy
Award
winning.
seasons and all that, that's a whole other beast. But like, no, so many of the great episodes are later on, and then there's a lot of like feel good moments too, where it's like, oh, wait, man, there are moments where it hits you. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually a really good show.
Well, you're gonna
Um,
see when you get to my list that I don't like a lot of the feel good moments in sitcoms. I actually have all the like terrible people of sitcoms. So
I know. As soon as I recognized, especially one person on there, and I'm like, oh god.
yeah.
So it's like no, like but no, Abbott is I really like Abbott. I think it's one of the better sitcoms on the air right now. Um, and I wouldn't say a lot, but I watch a decent chunk. Um, that being said, some of the ones that I really enjoyed also got canceled throughout the years, and so like sad. But I'd say like currently on the air, I think that Abbott is one that it's probably one of the better ones you could watch that's on right now. Don't listen to Joe. Uh, he's only seen one episode. I've seen them all.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm just saying, if they're with their episode that wins an Emmy is not good.
But here's the thing. When it comes to awards, sometimes it's just like, oh, this and this. Like everyone loved We Don't Talk About Bruno, but Disney was like, Dos Oreguitas, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. Like sometimes it's like, they're more award-winny kind of like award baity kind of things usually win. I mean, the pilot is good. See, is like when I've seen it all kind of as it is. So like I, like I remember bits from the pilot and whatnot, but it's like, you know, some scenes and stuff might be confused with something else that is also going on in a different episode. But no, Abbott is good, people. Joe needs to try more of the thing. And I feel like especially doing this, I had to bring someone from Abbott because it is a very well renowned sitcom right now.
Yeah, well, Ava is the Michael Scott of Abbott Elementary, the incompetent boss who is more interested in what's going on with her than actually how the school district or the company would do. So,
She cares every now and then, but she is definitely more self-absorbed. She's an influencer, and she doesn't always, uh, she's very, very into herself in like a very influencer kind of way. But yeah.
mhm.
All right. Next up, this person may look a little familiar. We have Blair Warner from Facts of Life. And that's because the actress that plays her, Lisa, was on Survivor Philippines. Now, I'm being truthful, and this is on me for not doing my research. I've not seen the Facts of Life. I don't know a lot about Blair or anything really. I just thought it would be cool to bring her because there was a Survivor contestant that was a main character on a sitcom.
Yeah, I don't know Blair Warner either. We need Jonathan Penner to come on here because he knew he knew
Yeah,
as much as Blair Warner. So yeah, yeah, we're going a little more off of just the actress who played her was on Survivor.
which sometimes that happens. But yeah, that being said, she might have inherited memories of or inherited experience because Lisa did play. So yeah, I, I should have done more research on her. That's on me because I scold. I wouldn't say I scold. I do raise an eyebrow to people who don't when they do like a draft or when they bring questions to something, and it's like, wait, how do you not know this? You're the one that made the question. What if we have questions about this, like on a test or something?
Yeah.
But I digress. But anyway, we got her here. And yeah.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Next up, we brought Cleopatra from Clone High. Um, so for those who don't know, um, I mean, it's one of Max's, which was originally HBO Max, now just Max. It's they had a revival, one of their things to be like, oh, here's one of their new originals to go with the launch of this new streaming service or revamped streaming service was Clone High. So way back in the 2000s, there was this popular. It was on MTV and it was like popular as in like people really enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but because of a few things, one of them being like the depiction of Gandhi not sitting well with certain people, and all that, it just was only one season, even though it was very well regarded.
Yeah.
And then fast forward literally 20 years, and then they decided to do a revival of it. And I didn't watch any Clone High when it aired, or really up until this month. But once because I heard so many great things about it, I was like, let me watch Clone High, and I loved it. And the current season that's on is really cool too. And I was like thinking, I don't have any animated characters here. Cleopatra's kind of funny. So and you know, I kind of similar to Ava, but also like, the kind of like pretty girl archetype. That's very
She's
into
the
her look.
mean girl, which typically has done pretty well on our channel.
Yeah, she could be the new Regina
Yeah.
of series 5. But yeah, so basically she is the clone of Cleopatra. Essentially the premise of Clone High is way back in the 1980s. Government employees took the DNA of famous guys and ladies and ladies and made weird genetic copies. I butchered that last one. But then they grew up and then they're in high school. So that's basically the premise. So this is the clone of Cleopatra. And, the main character, Abraham Lincoln, or the clone of Abraham Lincoln, is very into her. JFK is into her. And she's just like, she's the focus. She's like the main girl everyone wants to get with. And even in the reboot and stuff, she's still like the pretty girl thing. But it's a bit of different dynamic where she's not the queen bee anymore. And she's like, wait, what? Frida is the most popular, but what about me? What about me? I'm the prettiest. Um, it's she provides some humor. It's a fun show, and there's a lot of great people, but like, man,
Yeah, it's
um,
definitely a good one. I've been enjoying it. Clone High when it came out way back then. I remember like seeing it a little bit, but not like fully. Like I definitely didn't watch like all the episodes and know everything about everything. So I'm now like going back and actually watching the original because
yeah,
I'm still on Max. And yeah, it's a great show. I really like it. I understand people getting upset about Gandhi and everything, but also I end up laughing at things that Gandhi's doing in the show. So
yeah. I
like
mean,
for my comedic brain, it makes me kind of go like, well, but that's hilarious.
yeah, and I mean that's a whole different piece,
Yeah.
just in general. But like, you move on. Show must go on, and I mean, this show is still pretty funny without Gandhi.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I bought Cleo because of that,
Yeah,
and
we'll see
we'll
how
see.
she does because I believe the actual Cleopatra, the real life Cleopatra, was on our channel, and I don't think she did very well.
No, well, this is her clone, so
Yeah. So this is we'll see how the clone of Cleopatra does.
nice. All right, next up, we mentioned The Office. I feel like it would have been sacrilegious to
Yeah,
not bring a member of The Office to a sitcom Survivor. And of course, I had to go with Dwight Schrute. I feel like he's just played by Rainn Wilson. He was just like the perfect person to bring because like just looking at this roster, he's very type A, he's very cynical. He's a huge weird nerd. Um, Also, I feel like he would actually kill it at the survival aspect of things.
hmm
I just think his social game is just utter crap. So
yeah,
that's where what his undoing is going to be. But I feel like Dwight Schrute was perfect for Survivor. He is a farmer. He is a businessman. He's a bit of a kiss ass as well. So the man has a lot going for him. Uh, and I feel like his shenanigans out here will be great.
yeah, definitely. I can't imagine him going super far. As you said, his social game is not going to be great. I could see him pissing off at least six people on this tribe and then getting voted out early, or if he survives the early stages, being one of those first couple people voted out to merge because they just can't deal with being around Dwight anymore because he is a lot. He is.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. Like, I feel like tribe chemistry wise, there is definitely a few. I can see maybe the girls kind of, or the women kind of like teaming up together and whatnot, and the guys just not finding a lot of footing. Because like the guys are well, I feel like I did a good job of making every bringing people that are very different. But I would feel like the guys, if I'm just looking how these five would probably interact in a room, like I can see George and Robert kind of getting along, but ultimately it would be like a pity pissing contest between the two.
Uh,
Um, Speaking of which, let's get to the man. I love him. I love Seinfeld.
yeah.
So I had to bring George Costanza. He is, so for those of you who have never watched a single episode of Seinfeld, George is a man who he he has the worst luck, but like more so like he brings it on himself because he's kind of a crappy person. Um, let's Nothing seems to go right for him, but that's also due to his own thing. He has terrible luck with women because he's kind of crappy. I mean, like he's short, stocky, and not the most attractive thing. And like he can have charisma, but he chooses to be a bad person. He literally, there was a fire in an apartment, and he pushed away kids just to leave.
Yeah.
He um he accidentally killed his fiance by ordering cheap envelopes for their wedding, and she got poisoned by licking all the paste from the envelopes. um what else? uh this man, um and he complains about everything. He will go to such extreme lengths to try and get the final say in something.
Mhm.
One of my favorite things that he has done is when he was like, "Nothing has gone right in my life, so now I'm going to do the opposite." So I feel like if his game is going terrible, he'll start doing the opposite of everything.
Yeah.
Um, he's easily flustered. There is a scene where he's trying to like take off his jacket and the zipper's not working, and he's in a therapy session and he's just going ballistic because he's like, "It's not coming off. It's not coming off." Um, he has a weird dynamic with his parents. This man is a horrible man, but he's so damn funny.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna bring George if you but you brought in your list first and you already had him, so I ended up picking someone else kind of off of your pick almost. The person who actually is based off of George or like that George is based off of the real life person. So
Yeah, I
um
mean, yeah. No, and we haven't seen
yeah,
his list yet, have we?
yeah.
But, you know, all in good time. But yeah, George, as soon as I like thought of him for Brantsteele, I was like, oh man. Like I said, he was kind of like the reason why I suggested sitcom Brantsteele. So naturally he's gonna
Yeah.
go off first.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be like Pat Cusack and David versus Goliath, where they built the entire theme around because they like Pat Cusack's story was like, "You're a perfect David. Make it David versus Goliath," and then he gets medevaced episode one.
it still made a great season even with
Yeah,
that, but I digress.
yeah,
So we'll see. I'm not talking into existence. I mean, I feel like George, it would be funnier if he just had a miserable time constantly getting hurt and soldiers through,
yeah,
loses all of his alliance members, things
yeah.
like
I
that.
want him to be as memorable as Newman was in our brand
Yeah.
steals.
I mean, it could be that Seinfeld energy that could really
Yep,
propel him. All right, next up. From Malcolm in the Middle, yeah, from Malcolm in the Middle, we have Lois Wilkerson. And yes, the canonical last name for Malcolm and his family is Wilkerson.
yep.
How you find out is that in the pilot episode, you have you see, like one of their sons is in military school. And when you look at his badge, you see that it's, oh, Wilkerson. And it's kind of funny because they never say his last name out loud. And when they
Yeah.
almost do in the finale, it's the principal saying to Malcolm, "Oh, please welcome your valedictorian, Malcolm." and then there was like one of those mic things where it malfunctions. It
Yeah.
gets like overexposed to like sound, and then nah. But yes, Francis in the very pilot, because of that name tag in military school, usually they're addressed by their surname.
Yeah.
But apparently, like Francis just went to a military school where they just use first names.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
I
but
mean, yeah, I think it was probably one of those things where the script never had Wilkerson in it. But then when they got to the filming, they
set
realized like,
design.
well, we got
Yeah.
to put a name tag here, and so then they kind of just made one and was like, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good chance that it was like some production assistant or intern or something that was was in charge of making it and just did it there's a chance that something like
Yep.
that happened for the show. So but I love
Yeah.
Malcolm Little. I think Malcolm Little shaped uh modern sitcoms. It
I
really
mean, yeah.
showed like you don't need a laugh track to make a sitcom. You can have real life situations that aren't like, look at these people living like this glorious luxurious life,
Yeah.
the lower middle class family. Yeah, and it's everyone in the cast is terrible people in regards like they're doing things that are can be selfish. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't have typically seen in a sitcom previously.
Yeah. Um, and there's so much I can say because like this was one of my favorite sitcoms growing up. And it's funny because the reason why I chose Lois, one, I think she's probably one of the best TV moms in sitcom history. But also, I rewatched all of Malcolm in the Middle before I went to college. And like when I watched as a kid, like yeah, I related to the boys and really sympathized with them. And like Lois was like just the mean mom. But once I was like, oh shit, like Lois is actually badass. Like I really like Lois. Like
Yeah.
and ironically, the actress that plays her, Jane Kaczmarek, was the speaker at my graduation,
Oh, really?
which crazy full circle moment because of the whole thing. Me literally finishing Malcolm in the Middle the day before I left for LA, and then she ended up being the speaker at my graduation. But let me give you the rundown of Lois. So, she is very strict because the boys she has to deal with, and it started with Frances being a troublemaker. She used to be very submissive, but then she started to stand up for herself and be the tough mom because that's what the boys needed.
Mhm.
And she is very, I wouldn't say no nonsense. She does have a sense of humor. Um, but with the boys, she's very creative when it comes to the kind of punishments because they're always getting in trouble. She's a very determined woman. She's a hard worker. Um, Once she has her decision on what is right, she is hell bent to make sure her resolve is
Yeah.
so strong. Um, and then, she's not just like a rage machine and stuff, despite that one clip from Family Guy. She does have like a soft side. She does care about her kids very much.
Mhm.
And then also, she and Hal, played by Bryan Cranston, um, have such a nice little romance. So much. There's also another fun fact about Lois. Lois and Hal get a shout out in a Pokemon game.
Wait, really?
Yes. So in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Gen 3 remix, there is a couple on there is a couple that you fight in a double battle, and they're named Lois and Hal. So, but yeah, Lois is just like, but I brought Lois specifically because like, man, I really love her as like a TV mom. I think she will be great in Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like she was a no-brainer for me to bring.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think yeah, it's a great pick. I'm really excited to see how she does. And Malcolm in the Middle was such an interesting show because when I was a kid, I related way more with like Francis and like being like, my mom hates like is all doing all this stuff, like my mom's doing all this. And then but now when I've gotten older, I watched it again. I'm like, Francis, what are you talking about? Your mom's right.
Yeah,
Now it's interesting how, when you kind of get older, you can see that kind of switch.
that's kind of which is crazy. Which is why I always think it's always interesting coming back to either old shows or old movies when you haven't seen them in a while because like
Mhm.
your perspective of life changes and stuff. But yeah, so Lois is definitely a favorite of mine to be in this game. All right, next up, we got from Superstore, Mateo Liwang. And fun fact for those who don't know, the actor that plays him is engaged to Zeke from
Oh,
Survivor
really?
33 and 34.
Nice.
You do see him in the finale for I believe 34, where he's talking about his relationship with Zeke. Just a fun little coincidence. That wasn't the only reason I brought him, but it definitely was a decide. It was something that tipped the scales in his favor a little bit. Like he
Mhm.
was locked in pretty early, but I was like, "Ooh, this is another reason why he should come."
Uh-huh.
But Mateo, so we start out, and Mateo, he's like a very type A, very like, oh, he is a gay man who is basically he wants to take over, Cloud9, the superstore they work at, because essentially the premise of Superstore is pretty straightforward. It takes place at a superstore called Cloud9, and he and the main character get hired and start working at the same time. And Mateo, he's trying to be an overachiever in everything. Um, maybe he'll cause a little drama. Maybe he'll throw some shade to kind of like make himself look better, stuff like
Mhm.
that. I mean, he does. I feel like he'll do pretty well in Survivor. He is someone also who can have a heart and can like, sympathize with people. But mostly he's there to stir the tea and everything. Um, and him being a
Um,
hard worker, I'm pretty sure he is going to work hard round tap to show his worth so he can get his way in to like, be valuable to his team. And then shut them all down by throwing shade and causing drama.
nice. I have not seen Superstore, so I actually do not know anything about this character.
He it, Superstore is a fun show. I think it hits a little home for me because fun fact, people, my very first like job that wasn't like doing yard work with my dad was at a Walmart. Um, so like when I was in college and this show started, I was like, oh man, there's a sitcom that takes place at a superstore. I was like, oh man, this is like the most relatable show for me. And there's a lot of things in there that I think anyone that's worked retail will find hilarious.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I
sad
worked
to
at a
see this
grocery
one
store for a
ending.
couple of years, so I would
Yeah,
probably relate to some elements of it.
to some extent, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. I was sad to see it go because like I was like this was like one of my favorites.
Mhm.
But yeah, um, great ensemble. In fact, there were a few other people from this I was considering bringing, but I was like, nah, Matteo. But yeah,
Nice, nice,
um,
nice.
so I suggest to you guys and also Joe, like, give it a watch. I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice.
All right, next up. So usually when I'm watching stuff, sometimes I'll watch something that I haven't seen in a while and a whole series and whatnot. And I recently finished watching all of My Wife and Kids. And Michael Kyle Sr., because there's three, his son is Junior, and who we see in the picture right now is Junior Junior, aka Michael Kyle the third. Um, it is, it's a sitcom that is it either Damon or Damon. I've never heard his name out loud.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's Damon Wayans.
because I know there's a Damian Wayne. So
Yeah,
but Wayne's brothers are like one of the biggest names in Hollywood when it comes to like, a lot of comedy stuff, especially back in the early, like late 90s, early 2000s. And I remember watching this show all the time as a kid. Like this was like one of my favorite shows growing up. Um, we're talking like early childhood. And basically the premise is, it's centered around him, it's his wife and kids, and like he is someone where he is a self-made man. He has his own business and everything. And the thing is, he's a smart aleck. Um, he's someone that jokes around all the time. Um, he will smack his kid. He'll smack his son upside the head and be like, "Why are you being stupid?" Stuff like that. I'm not painting him in the best light, but like, no, he is someone where he will get with little shenanigans if his kids are acting up. There was one time where his daughter snuck out and he caught her doing it. And then she was like, not caught her, but he had very strong evidence. And so he made an elaborate scheme to catch her in the act and put her on what he calls the wall of shame. And so basically he was like, oh, there's a secret party. And he sent it through like a text and something through one of her friends to not tie it to him. And then when they open the door, when he's like, what's the password? They're like, voila. Say it again. Didn't hear that. Voila. One more time. Voila. He opens the door. Voila. Shame. Takes a picture and like grounds them and then also like humiliates them. Um, but yeah. Um, no, this show was fun. He's also a crazy man. He will throw money around. He's a very well off man.
Mhm.
Uh, he's nuts, but like he's grounded. Like he's just more crazy in his actions, and he's very sarcastic, but like in a like, oh really, and sometimes cartoony thing.
Um,
He also has heart. He does care about his family a lot, but he just kind of he kind of notices some things, and he's just like, he has to mock it a little bit. And yeah, I love this guy so much.
nice. Yeah, this was one of the shows I didn't really watch a lot. I like know about it, and I would see like the commercials and stuff for it, but I never really ended up tuning in that often to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few on your list that I haven't really seen,
Yeah.
but yeah, like this was one of my favorite shows growing up. Yeah. So I am also kind of rooting for him because I think his antics and his smart aleckness, it's going to be a fun little dynamic between everyone.
Nice.
All right, next up, we got Monica Geller from Friends. Now I love Friends. Um, I think it's a fun ensemble and everything. And I was like, which person do I bring? I was considering Chandler. I was considering, maybe Rachel or Janice or, uh, even Joey. There were a lot of people I could have pulled from, but I'm like, I really thought that Monica Geller kind of rounds out this team pretty well. Because she is very type A. She is a chef, so maybe that'll be something that she can curry favor with, which is literally why she was a chef. She became
Uh-huh.
a chef so people could like her.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I also think that she's not going to put up with a lot of crap. I think her and Lois might be the best duo on this team. Like, I feel like they're either going to be at arm's ends with each other because they're so different, or they're going to work together because they know they're on the same wavelength and know they can be a power duo in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monica Geller, um, you know, she, I don't know. It's tough because I feel like she is just so iconic. If you haven't seen Friends, she is kind of like the one who she's kind of like the mom of the friend group. She's also someone who is very, very particular. She is a clean freak as well. I'm pretty sure she is going to organize every grain of sand on the beach and be like, no, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like that. She
Uh-huh.
could annoy her fellow contestants, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I was a little upset though that you took someone from Seinfeld and Friends, because I feel like those fan bases are always feuding with each other, and then here you go, you put one of each on the same tribe, so I feel like Monica and George are gonna have to be gunning it out with each other at this point because they got to prove that they're the best
Sitcom of all time.
90s sitcom. Yeah, yeah.
We got a few heavy hitters here when it comes to that title, and then
Yeah,
especially this is just my half of the list. Wait until you see his.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I really enjoy both. I've seen Friends more so because of it around, but like Seinfeld, you know, Seinfeld is just a classic, and I think it's definitely a top contender. It's tough for me to choose between the two because I love them both so much for
Yeah.
different reasons. They do have a very different vibe,
Yeah,
but
they're
yeah,
different, but oh yeah, I feel like they always get compared. Personally, I am a Seinfeld person. Like, if I was like given the option of either watching Seinfeld or Friends, every day, I'm always choosing Seinfeld.
it's a like I said, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh man, I can't choose. Uh, I might have to flip a coin if I have to decide between the two.
Mhm.
Um, if it's what to watch.
Yeah,
But yeah, uh,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
Well, I will say maybe I've watched more Friends episodes in the sense as well. Um, like for Thanksgiving or stuff, there's a few certain ones that I look up because I'm like, oh, they have so many like Thanksgiving things. It's fun to cook and like watch that for all the shenanigans. I would fail. Maybe it's Friends is more relatable because I am in my 20s and like, basically the premise of the show too is like your friends are kind of like your family because you're all out here with each other. It takes place in New York. Granted, this is LA, but it's kind of like a similar principle where it's like, oh, we're all out here. We're all trying to make it happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, just one of my favorite comedians of all time is Larry David, the one of the
yeah.
writers of.
No, he is big. You two,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what leads me in that core. But I mean, I understand the appeal of Friends and why people love it as much as they do.
Yeah. No. I just started a job. I just started a job at WB. Um, for those of you who want to stalk me. Uh, and like the like little friends pop up they have and stuff. I see that. I'm like, oh man, like I can never get tired of that.
Mhm.
But yeah, we can go on this age old debate of
Yeah.
but I want to move on because we gotta introduce our last contestant on my tribe, and that's Robert Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. Now,
Mhm.
I have not seen this sitcom in its entirety, but my roommate is a big fan of the show. And when it came on Paramount Plus, he would just put on random episodes. So much so, it's usually targeted for Robert. And Robert's one of the funniest people on that show because kind of like George, he's kind of like a sad sap, but more so Robert Barone is the sad sap where if you have ever heard him, he has this voice like this, and he's sad. He has literally played Eeyore. The
Yeah.
actor
Yeah.
Brad Garrett has played Eeyore. You know you're a sad sap if you are in the running to play Eeyore.
Yeah.
Um, but Robert is a cop who you know, on Survivor, usually cops do pretty well, first responders.
Mhm.
So he does have a bit of an edge in that regard, but he has like some of the worst luck ever. He is constantly bullied by his big brother, and then he just has a kind of like a face like that a lot of the time. And he gets himself in these situations, not like George, but just like based on circumstance. There was one time where a bull was running loose um, and he gets impaled in the butt with one of the bull's horns, and then like he's just like walking with a cane. His mother is kind of like overbearing and almost sabotages him getting a job because she sends a note, and he's like, "Oh God, what are you doing?" um, no, like this man is hilarious. I love Brad Garrett.
Yeah,
Um,
it's great. Have you watched Pete Davidson's new show Bupkis?
I have not yet. Oh, I know he's in
It
it.
is in it. And he's got some really funny stuff that he does in that show as well. So yeah, he's yeah, great actor. Yeah, everybody loves Raymond. He is definitely, I think, the standout of the show
Oh
personally.
yeah,
Um
definitely.
so yeah, I was glad to see you bring him on.
Yeah, and I feel like he was just another one where I'm like, it's a must. It's a
Yeah.
must.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Oh, can we pause real quick? I really need to use the restroom.
Yeah, sure. Let me pause. Okay, welcome back. We just finished up Ryan's list here, so let's go over now to my casts. Um, okay, starting off here with Abed Nadir from Community, and he is, in my opinion, the best character on Community, hands down. And honestly, he's going to have probably the biggest advantage on this entire season because he knows everything about movies and TV. So he probably knows every single person on this cast and knows
Oh yeah.
exactly what they're going to do, how they think, and what you need to do to like work with them. So he is going to be, in my opinion, a huge major threat in this game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they kind of like similar to Dwight, but in a different way. It's a social game that might be his downfall. Like
But
he is sociable, but he is awkward.
so yeah, I
Um,
think I think he has a potential first boot candidate, but the thing is that people end up warming up to him the more they kind of get to know him or like be around him to the point where
yeah,
they almost then don't feel like they can even like make anything, they can't say anything mean to him, they can't hurt him in any way. And if they let him get front of them in this game, uh I think a lot of people are going to be almost like, oh, well, we can't vote Ovid. Like that would just be mean.
no. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I have seen all Community. Granted, I've seen all of it once, but also, did you know that even though it was suggested to be someone else, Annie, it was actually Abed the whole time who was the ass crack bandit.
Yeah, I did see a
The
theory
video.
on that. So yeah.
Yeah, so he is sneaky. He is someone that is very meta as well.
Yep.
And I feel like, he is aware of situations, maybe not always socially, but he can definitely get people behind him. Just looking at your team right now, I'm gonna say mostly it's the males that are going. Granted, I don't know Constance or Susie, but I can just see this team imploding so
Oh yeah,
fast.
I have basically picked like the worst team. Like that you could, but like this just feels like the team that should just like constantly be at each other's throats.
Yeah, I mean, even the people who are a bit nicer on your tribe, I just see, oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah.
It's
Even the
gonna be fun.
nice ones I think have like, they can only put up with so much.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I like Ovid. I thought he was funny.
Yeah.
And in college I broke the fourth wall a lot. So I kind of related to Abed a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I think he
he sees everything from like an outsider's perspective almost, like almost as if he's not even in reality. Like he's watching himself on TV almost.
yeah, no, Abed was such a great character.
Yeah.
I know writer strike and now SAG strike and all of that is delaying it, but they did finally get their movie greenlit. So that age-long wish of 6 seasons and a movie will come true all
Yeah.
in good time.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've been excited for the last few years. I keep telling some of my friends who have watched it, and they've been like, it's never going to happen. It can't happen. Like how are you going to get Donald Glover to do it? He's going to charge like $20 million to do the movie or something crazy like that. But they managed to I think because of the whole COVID and everything shutting down, it kind of let them all have like that Zoom cast like get together.
Yeah,
And I think Donald Glover, they basically asked him and he was like, yeah, I do it. Like, let's do it, guys. And it kind of caught everyone off guard and was like, oh, maybe we should do this.
Yeah, I like it. I like it when actors are like they put ego aside. Not saying like Donald Glover is like egotistical or anything like that, but like when it's like one of those things where I get it sometimes if you make it to a certain point, you're like, oh, well, I shouldn't do this because this is beneath me or stuff. And
Yeah,
some people feel that way about, I wouldn't necessarily say TV, but sitcoms, unfortunately. And
yeah,
it was like, but no, like Donald Donald Glover, obviously his career exploded, not only with, his acting, but also, with Childish Gambino and stuff and him, when it came to Atlanta, and all his other work as well.
yeah,
Uh, you know, he's definitely, I'd say, the biggest name out of the bunch, apart from Chevy Chase. But Chevy Chase,
yeah.
there's a reason why they killed him off. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. There's a few reasons. We could make a whole video honestly about the Chevy Chase community stuff, but
yeah,
yeah, but we got Ovid here, and I'm excited to see how he does.
yeah. All
Okay.
right. This
Next
guy.
up is someone who I don't think he's going to do great on here, but I think he might add some fun pre-merge shenanigans and entertainment and get into some fights. We got Al Bundy from Married with Children. Yeah, he is I mean, I there's just so many wrong things about him. He's got some sexist traits. He's a little bit racist. But like basically name a like toxic trait, and he probably has it.
Yeah, he's fat phobic, or I wouldn't say he's fat phobic as well.
Yeah,
Constantly makes fun of specifically women that are
yeah,
obese. Um, he he's a smart aleck. He hates his wife, even though but still married. Uh, he is a despicable human being, but that's kind of like why he's so funny.
yeah. He's one of those original like just put a terrible person on screen and somehow it becomes funny. Yeah, I was debating between him, Archie Bunker, and Frank Reynolds. Like it was really those three. I was because I wanted that kind of curmudgeony old man who just hates everything. I have one a little bit with Larry David here, but like he has at least a little more likability than those other guys that I just named. But yeah, I picture Al Bundy is he's the kind of guy in early Survivor who is the older guy who goes out probably around like the merge or like right before the merge, pretty much because of what we just said of just they just can't be around him because he's saying all these terrible things. Kind of like Roger from Survivor Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah. I imagine he's going to be similar to that kind of guy.
I would say it's even worse for Al now because we do live in a place where, like, because my roommate he watches a lot of or he watched all of Married with Children and stuff like that. It is a show that would not fly today.
Oh
It
yeah,
would it would be shut down immediately in the pitch room. Like it's one of those things that would not work. So it
yeah,
got lucky that it came out when it did because
yeah.
good watching some of it back. You're just like, oh
It's
no.
very yeah. It can be very jarring.
So just yeah. So like this man would never be on Survivor because it just wouldn't fly. So I either see him going out first because his tribe can't stand him, or him being brought to the end because no one would ever vote for this man.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds pretty pretty appropriate. So yeah, we'll see how Al does. I think he'll be probably getting into a lot of feuds, so I'm excited to see that. So
And
yeah,
even worse. because of that lowercase L, it looks like an I, an AI, and AI is the enemy. So
Yeah, AI Bundy.
AI Bundy. Oh hell no, that's even worse.
Yeah. Imagine someone making that instead of Chat GPT, it's AI Bundy, and it's just AI, but with the mindset of Al Bundy.
That's terrifying. Actually, we do have an AI. We do have an AI on your tribe.
Yep.
Funny enough,
Yeah, and it's the next person we're going to talk about, though. Let's just get into it. Yeah, we
fun
got
little transition.
yeah, we got Bender Bending Rodriguez, who is a robot from the future in the year 3000. Um, and similar to almost in the owl case, I mean, he's just a terrible person. Like he is, he smokes in front of kids. He always, cursing. He's basically everything that like say like the 70s 80s sitcoms were like almost against in a way of he's just they even made a whole episode about it where it's like don't let Bender on TV because he's just such a terrible influence on people, yet he's the most like famous person from that show. Maybe Zoidberg is more famous. Like I think he's gotten some recognition in the years since Futurama, but I still think Bender is, easily the one.
He steals the show. Like
Yeah,
Zoidberg is funny and stuff, but like
yeah,
when you think Futurama, Bender is usually, like out of like the core three, which would be him, Fry, and Layla. Like Bender is more of the face that comes up, whereas like he embodies what the show is about,
yeah,
basically, which
yeah.
is like
And the new season's coming out soon,
I
which I'm
heard.
really excited. Apparently, though, they were actually going to recast Bender's voice actor. They didn't want him for some reason. I don't think they ever told us why. They were just like, we're gonna recast you. And then people got really mad and like basically rioted almost like they did a lot of online like discourse about how they don't want to watch the show if he's not in it. And sure enough, the studio folded and got the guy back into to playing Bender. So good on the people to keep that because I just don't I don't think it would work if someone else just randomly starts playing Bender.
I mean, I feel like yes, it's easier to recast actors in voice acting because like sometimes it's a bit easier to get away with it because it just has to sound similar enough and then it works.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, but no, like I'm glad that they brought the old Bender back. Granted, like I've enjoyed Futurama here and there. I wouldn't say like I'm a diehard fan where I've seen every episode, but if it
Mhm.
was on cable and stuff, I totally watched it.
Yeah, it's
But
so genius, honestly. Like, because I watched it when I was younger, but then after now, kind of being more like I know a lot more about writing and writing structure and how to make a show. There's just now so many more things that I can now see that are just genius about it, of how just quick they're able to get to places and still have the yeah. I mean, most shows need like a lot of time to build up to the kind of getting you into the year 3000 from
yeah,
some 2000. They do that in 3 minutes.
yep. Fry just gets frozen. They
Yeah,
thaw him out. Bender wants to kill himself and brings Fry with him.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm excited to see Bender here. I've been wanting to bring him on for a while. And yeah, he's also a cook if you can't see it from this picture. But he is a terrible cook. He does not know at all how to make something edible for humans.
I mean, Rochelle knows how to cook, and Lucy.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched I Love Lucy,
Yeah, but
but
he has the ego that he thinks he's got to be the one to cook. He
my
does
God,
not want anyone else to be doing it. He's going to be like, guys, I got this, and then he's going to put just a bunch of sands on on some coconuts, and then say, "Here you go, guys."
my God, your tribe just. All right, let's go with because I have not seen Party Down. Like I've seen clips and little brief things like this, but I really don't know too much about the show.
Okay.
Um, I
So
know the premise and whatnot, but
yeah, yeah. It's basically just a bunch of caterers who have to do it, but they hate their job. But they gotta make money, so they're doing this terrible job. And Constance Carmel is obviously played by the wonderful Jane Lynch. Um, and yeah, she's basically an older woman, but she's like a complete airhead, does not understand any social awareness about what people are wanting. And is just completely out of the loop pretty much all the time, which adds a lot of the humor of just she's off in her own world basically. Almost like Phoebe from Friends in that regard of just cannot follow along with any social understanding whatsoever.
like
Which is terrible for a catering company when you can't pick up social cues.
just in general, she's playing a social game. Like, how did we bring so many people that did not have social skills coming into this?
Hey, that's what makes sitcoms funny.
Yes, yes, that's true. But no, I haven't seen Party Down, like I said, but like Jane Lynch, like, any character she plays, it's just amazing. Like one of the more talented comedic actresses out there. I don't want to say underrated because obviously she has a resume and some rewards to prove, how great she is. But
Yeah,
like in the sense of like when we talk about the discussion of like some of the best, like yeah, one of the best like entertainers out there that's like really really funny. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit in that
yeah,
regard.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know. Have you watched? Oh yeah, you haven't watched any of Party Down yet.
No,
Yeah, yeah. The new season recently came out. A little bit ago. Like they like revived the show, which was
yeah,
pretty interesting because it was a show that like people loved, but no one saw. Like maybe 100 people in the world saw in the first two seasons. Like it was, I mean, and a lot of that's because it was on Stars. Who's going to watch something on Stars?
yeah. I mean, it was also on Hulu for a bit too.
Yeah,
Before like obviously the revival's on Hulu, but like this was also like I remember it coming out when streaming services were still finding their footing. Like
yeah.
really there was Netflix and Hulu, but like people gravitated more towards Netflix than
Yeah.
Hulu.
Yeah, I think this came out during the time when Netflix was still like people looked at it as the DVD thing where you would get DVDs sent to your house. Like that I think that was when the show was coming out. So it was definitely definitely in a time where streaming wasn't like well known.
Yeah,
People weren't able to just say like, okay, where's Party Down? Let me go to it. Here we go.
exactly.
It was a lot more gated behind a lot more paywalls and things that just seemed way more hassle than it was worth to watch one show.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how Constance does. As I said, terrible social awareness. So she's going to hopeful. She needs to find someone who has good social awareness and just stick with them because, which is unfortunate because there's not a lot of there's very few good social awareness people on this tribe. So
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the two that I know of. I don't know anything about Susie, but the two that I know of that have social awareness are Rochelle and Rosa. Thing
yeah,
is, they have pretty strong personalities.
yeah,
And like I know Rochelle can definitely turn up the charm when she needs to, but they don't pull it with a lot of crap. Same thing with Rosa, though she doesn't have to put on charm. Rosa is very much herself and does not just put up with anything.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see how Constance does. I'm rooting for her. I'm hoping she does well. Um,
Yeah.
Okay, next up, this is the guy I brought because you picked George Costanza. This guy is the reason that George Costanza even exists. Most storylines in Seinfeld that are George Costanza actually happened to Larry David in real life, and he just wrote it down as a Seinfeld storyline. Yeah, he is just a terrible, terrible person, but in all the funniest ways possible. um, yeah, he's been on the channel before, I believe. I believe that the real Larry David is here. This is now a little more Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is a more heightened version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like real life, but parody of real life.
yeah,
Mockumentary.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. The series finale is in the works. I don't think they're filming it because of the writer's strike, but also I don't know if you know how they do those episodes. They don't really write the episodes. They write out beats to the whole episode, which are basically is about 7 pages of it, and then they just give the actors they just improv.
No,
Um,
that makes sense.
yeah, so I'm actually not sure if they're allowed to go film because it's pretty much all improv.
Yeah, I know. I've read a report on Deadpool 3, and that's part of the reason why, they're not allowed to improv on that, which is like crazy to think about because Ryan Reynolds, the amount of improv he does, not just it just in general.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how is that gonna like I'm sure they got quality things behind it, but I'm also like, oh. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, also for those who don't know, I mean, if you're watching our channel, you're probably a big Survivor fan. Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm had a little Colby Donaldson on an episode,
Mhm.
and they got into a bit of a heated argument.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, he's obviously a fan of Survivor if he's bringing on Colby Donaldson for that little bit. But yeah, no, he's another kind of curmudgeony old man who doesn't he also has a lack of social awareness.
Yeah,
But in a way of like it's actually not a lack, it's like an over acute amount of social awareness that almost annoys people because his social awareness is now kind of impacting other people in a way that he's now socially not aware of how that's impacting them. So it's a really weird dichotomy of um him finding like a weird little thing, like cutting the line and making a big deal about like, hey, you can't cut the line, but the person who was cutting the line was in one of the episodes was black, and she was like, are you just saying this because I was black? If I was a white person, you'd be fine with this, wouldn't you? And so now he has to have like this whole like, oh, no, that's not what it was, but like you got to get to the back of the line now. Like he's still just like super, just like terrible. No, get back there. It doesn't matter. And everyone in the line starts just getting really upset about Larry David during it. It's like he just digs himself into a hole the more he talks, basically.
okay. You have so many people that are screwed on your tribe. It's like, how do you even decide who goes home first?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying is that some of these are like I have a lot of potential first boots, but only one
Only,
of them
there can
can.
only be one. There can only
Yeah.
be one.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's Larry David. I'm rooting for him. He's probably one of my top people that I'm rooting for. So yeah. Okay. Next up, we got from probably one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time, I Love Lucy. We got Lucy Ricardo. I will admit I haven't seen it in a very long time. This was one of those shows I watched like growing up.
Yeah,
Like I would watch it with my mom. She Lucy is also, in a way of like how Constance is a bit of an airhead, pretty dumb, like
yeah.
for lack of a better word. Um, and yeah, it just is always kind of getting into a bunch of shenanigans because of miscommunication, constantly doing things the wrong way, which then she tries to make up for, but has trouble doing that. So yeah, I could see her teaming up with Constance, we could have like an Airhead alliance. Honestly, I could see maybe some of these like people who have just zero social awareness coming together. I could see Lucy potentially spearheading that alliance.
I can see that as well. Definitely. Um, I have not watched a lot of I Love Lucy. I've seen definitely clips and whatnot,
Yeah,
and you see the influences it's had, like,
yeah,
the sushi episode in Drake and Josh, where,
yeah,
they're just throwing things in that is a direct parody of I Love Lucy. And
yeah,
then, like, just the amount of influence she has had, and like the impact the show did have.
yeah.
I did see being the Ricardos, and like watching that, you get a little bit more backstory on it. But
Yeah.
she was someone I was thinking of bringing just purely on principle and the impact on like sitcom in general. Because like we think of OG like original sitcoms, and what Lucy is like one of the ones that I feel like Lucy is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I felt when I was making the list was we needed Lucy just because of she is the I mean it is the sitcom I think a lot of people think of as like almost an OG sitcom in some regards.
Yeah, very much agree.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So we'll see how Lucy does. Moving on now to Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris, which was one of the shows I loved watching growing up. It was something I would always turn on. And yeah, Rochelle reminds me a lot of actually Lois Wilkerson in some regards, kind of the overbearing mother kind of figure who is usually the one who has to dish out the punishments for the kid
Oh,
if
yes.
whenever anything happens. So yeah, I'm interested to see how she does. I kind of hope that she does make it far with Lois. I would love to see kind of the moms team up, make a little mom alliance.
I don't know. I feel Rochelle, there are some downsides to her. She is a strict mom. However, she is someone who, because I've watched Everybody, that's another show I watched a lot growing up.
Yeah,
She is someone where if there is someone else that can like provide and stuff, she will quit. And because like she would throw the excuse, my man has two jobs all the time. And that's why she would never like stick to a job unless she absolutely had to. She does have a bit of a temper in the sense of like, oh, if anyone is messing up. I remember her pulling out a knife against Terry Crews in the show, playing, Julius, Julius Rock, Chris Rock's dad. And then, like, she's like, you're cheating on me. And she just pulls out a knife and then just is like psycho and everything. She is someone that doesn't put up with a lot of bull crap,
yeah,
and is uh she's smart. She made she's also a bit streetwise as well. In the sense of like one episode I think of a lot is like the one where basically Chris gets hustled out of money for going on the Greyhound and stuff. And
mhm,
Rochelle pretty much knows how to hustle the hustler because she grew up, and her, I believe her grandfather was like, oh yeah, this is how you do three card money, and this is how that game works, and how that hustle kind of happens. So she is a very smart woman. Um, and she knows how to kind of like navigate stuff. Her downfall might be her temper, though.
yeah, yeah, definitely. She can definitely freak out over the littlest things too. So definitely gotta be careful with her. If she is in your alliance, you gotta really take care of her. You can't let a bunch of little things kind of pile up because otherwise your alliance will probably implode from the inside out with her.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Cool, cool. Okay, so that's Rochelle. Moving on now to Rosa Diaz from Brooklyn 99.
9-9.
99. Yeah, I believe the actress who played her, I think Stephanie Beatriz, we also had as someone
Yeah,
who was on her channel before. But now her character is coming here, and she's pretty much just this no nonsense detective who yeah, just is very blunt, speaks what's on her mind, doesn't really like yeah, she's not really shows off any of her feminine side at all. Like it's very much like like I say something wrong to me and I'm gonna punch you in the face.
yeah. She's yeah. As you guys know, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I was debating on bringing her because I was like, wait, I know I've used Stephanie B. Have I used Rosa? Because I brought in a few people from the Nine-Nine, whether it's the actors or actresses that play them or
Yeah.
the characters themselves. So like I was even in an earlier draft debating bringing Hitchcock and Scully as just two. They would have taken up two spots, so that's why I went against it. And you can't have one without the other. But
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I'm glad you brought Rosa. Um, she does have a sensitive side, and it does come out as well.
Yeah.
But like, you really have to gain her trust, and
Yeah.
she trusts maybe she trusts people in the Nine-Nine varying degrees, but like, she is someone who can be very, very closed off, even to those people who are like, they didn't even know where she lived. And when they did, she was like, no, I'm moving right after this. Now
Yeah.
that you've been to my apartment,
Yeah.
like, she can be that closed off.
Yeah, exactly. She's got wall upon wall upon wall upon wall as defensive mechanisms to to keep people out pretty much. So yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, that's not a good thing to have on Survivor is to be that closed off. Um
Well, I feel like with all these personalities and stuff, I feel like she has a bit more of an edge than maybe others.
mhm.
Um, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, next up from the Big Bang Theory, we got Sheldon Cooper, who is a massive genius with zero social awareness, more zero social awareness. They make jokes about that all the time of how he just can't figure out sarcasm. He's very like logical, like he only takes things pretty much on face value.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's going to be tough for him because everyone's out here is going to be lying, and I don't know if he's going to be able to decipher lies from truths, honestly.
I
But I
feel
mean,
like,
he's a lot of fun. He's definitely, I think, the reason the Big Bang Theory worked as well as it did. But
oh,
similar
hands
to
down.
similar to Ovid in my regard of just like this character kind of just was so iconic, so good that it just made the show and all of the characters around him so much better.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a reason why they had a prequel series based off of Sheldon Cooper. Like, Sheldon, I mean, you think of Big Bang Theory and he is the face of it. And it's like, he is what makes that, Jim Parsons' like delivery and like what he brought to that character is so like iconic, where it's like Big Bang Theory, and it's a show that I know there are other shows that have gone on for like plus 10 seasons, but you're doing something right if you're able to keep going past 10. Like even past 6 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Past 10, that is like insane. Very few even sitcoms can say they did that. But yeah,
Yeah. I
Sheldon
think he was
Cooper.
making like 1.5 million an episode in like the final season.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like
yeah,
the he was that he was that impactful on the
yeah,
show. Like he's like, when we talk about actors that cannot, like characters that cannot be played by any other actor, he is definitely one of those people where
yeah,
I believe in any other alternate reality and stuff, he is the one constant throughout the multiverse. He is Sheldon Cooper.
yeah. Yeah, I was watching. Oh, I read the pilots of The Big Bang Theory before they had even done the casting, and Sheldon was so much different
How
in
did you?
the
How did
pilot.
you read the pilot before the
Um,
casting?
well, you can find it online, like the scripts of them. Like if you
Oh, okay.
up, I can even send it to you if you want. But like it's so different. Like it opens up on Sheldon had just like masturbated to do yeah, very weird that that's how like we were introduced because he's like doing like donating his sperm. Like that's like the opening thing of the pilots. Is like he had just done that. And so then they changed it. If you actually watch the pilot now, it's them debating about wanting to do it and then freaking out and not being able to do this. But in the actual pilot, they had done it and are now like, oh, I can't believe we just did
Good
that.
God.
Yeah. So yeah, I think once they kind of got him and he started bringing a lot of his elements to it, I think they kind of started realizing that they definitely had shaped the character a lot differently than I think they had originally were planning on using Sheldon. So
That works
definitely
so well.
just the actor coming in. Yeah, and yeah, all of the lines just did not sound like Sheldon. Like it did not seem like they had Sheldon Cooper down early.
No, no. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how Shonen does. Another no social awareness. Honestly, might be good for all these people with no social awareness. It might not actually be a negative in this season, or at
I
least for
mean,
this
once the
time.
tribes swap and whatnot,
Yeah,
like they will be easy targets.
yeah. Okay. And last but not least, we got Susie Meyerson from the Marvelous Miss Maisel. I recently just finished the show. The series finale just came out like a month ago or so. Um, and yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely give it a watch. Susie Meyerson plays the manager of Miss Maisel. And she starts off as pretty much uh someone with like nothing basically, like she doesn't even have a phone and she's a manager.
How do you even function? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
there's like a whole they have like a whole episode in like season two about her having to get a phone because
good
she
God.
she can't do it, so she yeah, but by the end of this the show she ends up actually being like the best manager that has ever existed. She's repping people like George Carlin, literally all the comedy greats. And yeah, she's like one episode they literally are like, okay, yeah, she went to the golf course and she got three different shows like picked up in like 45 minutes. Like
Dang.
that's her ability to just go around and get something done by the end of it. Whereas yeah, she really was like pretty much had nothing at the start, but she just works so hard. She literally puts in all the elbow grease to try to get her clients jobs basically.
Yeah. I haven't seen Marvelous Miss Mabel. I've like seen like 5-second clips. Like if you go to AMC, they have like an Amazon thing where they'll show you like pretty much silent your phone. Be sponsored by Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
And so like that's really all I really seen from the show. I know it's great. It's
yeah.
just I haven't gotten around to it yet. Maybe I will once I finish my one I kind of like bounce from sitcom to sitcom once I complete it.
Mhm,
That's just kind of like I go. I usually have like a sitcom, like a hour long show, and then like maybe an anime or something like that. And
mhm.
then I just kind of like have those in rotations, and whatever I'm feeling in the moment is what I do. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll put on the list.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's definitely worth a watch. It was the show I was watching with like my mom, because she was all like talking about how she wanted to watch it so much, and I was into it because I'm a stand-up comic, and it's a lot of based around stand-up, like
Oh,
that
yeah.
the entire world basically. So it kind of had a good appeal for both me and my mom, and yeah, it's a good one. It's got some it's a we're in kind of a new era for sitcoms where it's not as much as a hard comedy of like laugh, 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 laugh. Now we're more in a comedy drama phase of we want the comedy like to be there, but we also want a lot of these dramatic elements that like are relatable and ground people and make
Yeah.
it like, oh, I'm not just here for the laughs. I'm actually here now for the emotional story that is being told by these characters.
Well, yeah, and that's partially due to just how storytelling and binging, like streaming, has evolved over the years. Where
Yeah.
I actually watched this video, and it's about the writer strike, but also like how, like with TV, obviously you have different acts based on commercials, and you have to write around that. And when it comes to binging, part of the story you do is to make sure that people are invested to keep binge watching. And
Mhm.
so, like, when it comes to these sitcoms and stuff, there is like a lot more overarching stories as well to kind of like tie everything into each other. So you do have that payoff. And some of it is these emotional stakes or like these
Yeah.
like dramatic stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. Also, fun fact: the actress Alex Borstein, who plays Susie Myerson, also is the voice actress for Lois Griffin in Family Guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
very
I did
interesting.
not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And by the way, I was considering Family Guy, or like I said, this is something where we might have to do a second season of this because like
yeah.
there were so many people that I did not bring. Like I was even thinking of Fleabag from Fleabag because like, oh no, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is hilarious. I was like, ooh, that would have been cool. But like, there thing is, that just means that we who we brought were really really good
Yeah, yeah.
because
This is
we
the cream of
had
the
to
crop.
like trim it down by so much.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I think we got a good pool here. Let's start with your tribe. Who are your favorites?
A lot of them, but I would say like my top three, maybe four, is George, Robert, Lois, and Michael. I'd say those are my top ones.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think I'm rooting for Cleopatra, Dwight, and George. I think those are the three I'm rooting for.
Nice.
Nice, nice. And then over on my tribe, I'm obviously going to be rooting for Larry David. I'm going to root for Susie Myerson too, since I just watched the show, and Bender Rodriguez.
Nice. For me, it's a bit tricky. Uh, Cause I would say like definitely Rosa is like standout for me.
Mhm.
I have a morbid curiosity, so I kind of want Al Bundy to go further in the game. Uh, though I do want to shout out Abed and Shelton as well.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, you're ready to get into it.
Let us do it.
Okay. Monica has found the legacy advantage.
Nice.
Nice, nice. And George Costanza finds the hidden immunity idol.
Oh my God. How?
Oh my gosh. He was probably just walking on the sand and just actually like tripped over something and then looked over and found it and was like, "What? I got the idol?"
He's gonna be terrible at hiding it too. I feel like he'll come
Yeah.
back crying, being nonchalant, and then everyone's just gonna expose. He's like, "You have the
Yeah.
idol, right?" He's like, "No, no, I don't."
He's probably going to think this is more of a curse. He's definitely going to be in that element of just why did I have to find this thing?
Yeah. Now, every time I go to tribal council, I'm gonna feel like if I don't play it, I'm gonna mess up. And if I play it, I waste it. Any decision I make will be wrong.
Yes, yes. Okay, no alliances on your tribe and nothing happening on my tribe. Let's see who wins immunity. And my tribe wins immunity.
Of course,
Somehow, none of these people will be a first boost.
just purely because they won.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Ava and Lois have a major fight.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Michael was impressing the rest of the team. That's it. Abed and Rochelle bond strongly. Larry and Susie find something in common. They're both in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Rochelle has a major meltdown, and then she rests at camp to restore her energy.
She just had to vent, let it all out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ava and Lois are the only two that are like coming to mind because they're the only one with beef right now.
Yeah, it's got to be one of them. I'm rooting for Lois to be in here, so I'm gonna say Ava.
Unfortunately, I gotta go Ava, yeah.
Yeah. First vote goes to Lois. Second vote goes to Michael.
No.
Third vote goes to Lois. Fourth vote goes to Lois. Fifth vote goes to Lois. Sixth vote goes to Lois. And Lois is unanimously voted out as the first boot. Wow. Oh,
I'm not thrilled with that.
that's really, yeah. I actually really hate that. Oh,
God.
okay. Well,
They were just like, no, it's the alpha matriarch energy. They were like, no, 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 no.
oh, Ava got her way though. Ava got her
She
way.
did.
Okay, nothing over here. Still, my tribe's not finding an idol. And
Okay.
your tribe wins immunity. They also win a tarp.
So who on your tribe? I'm very curious.
Ava and Michael find something in common as George and Michael form an alliance. And
He
then
needs this.
George works at Hardick. That's got to be a lie.
Yeah. He probably did one thing where he brought a stick for fire and he's like, oh, I'm worn out. I'm worn out. I can't do anymore. Um, but no, I feel like George gravitating to Michael Kyle makes sense because Michael Kyle, as I said, he's a smart aleck and stuff like that. Reminds him of Jerry. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Larry and Lucy have a major fight. Al and Rosa have a major fight. Oh boy. And a new alliance formed between Abed, Al, Rochelle, and Sheldon.
Well, that's not good.
Well, who let Al in this alliance? That's my real question.
That is a great question to be had.
Okay. I'm going to say Rosa.
It better not. There's too much. There's too many bad people on here. Why get rid of one of the good ones?
First vote goes to Bender. Second vote goes to Lucy. Third vote goes to Bender. Fourth vote goes to Lucy. Fifth vote goes to Lucy. Sixth vote goes to Bender. Seventh vote goes to Bender. Eighth vote goes to Bender. Ninth vote goes to Lucy. One vote left.
That
No.
I just see at the end he's like, bite my shiny metal and walks off. That's just the only thing he says, right afterwards where they film your reaction while the credits roll. He's like, bite my shiny metal ass. Screw this show. Walks away.
I
This
have been
wouldn't
wanting
happen
to
on
bring
Robot
Bender
Survivor.
for so freaking long, and he comes in and is the second boot of the season.
Welcome to my world.
Oh, stupid. So stupid. Okay, who voted for who? Abed, Al, Lucy, Rochelle, Rosa, and Sheldon voted Bender. Bender, Constant, Larry, and Susie voted Lucy.
That's not good for them. All right.
Okay. Nothing there. Lucy finds the hidden immunity idol.
Interesting.
Yeah, it probably looked like a piece of chocolate or something. And she was trying to just eat it, and it was like, oh, it's the idol.
Just why? Or
Okay. And my tribe wins immunity.
oh god.
They are safe. They also win comfort items. Nice. And a new alliance forms between Ava, Blair, Cleopatra, George, Michael, and Roberts.
That means Monica is one of the people in danger. Trying to think who else is not on that. Uh, Monica's in danger. I'm blanking on who else is
Yeah,
here.
I can't remember. Well, we'll see when we get there. Rochelle is impressing the rest of the team. Susie has a major meltdown. Susie quits the game as a result.
What?
Are you kidding me? Freaking kidding me? Oh my
I'm so
god.
sorry, man. Like, god damn.
You know what happened? You know what freaking happened? They won comfort items. She got her phone and then found out that she had a voicemail from someone wanting to book her client and needed to have a lunch.
My
She
god.
left the game to go do that instead of play the freaking game.
Man, this feels like when I brought Kilgrave, and it's just like you had such high hopes, and then just I'm sorry, man.
This is stupid. This is so dumb.
We might have to do a quitters at war for
Yeah.
people who quit that were like, no, screw that.
Okay, well, a new alliance formed between Abed, Al, Constance, Larry, and Rochelle. Al is like finding themselves in these alliances somehow.
I think he's just like the goat you bring because it's like no one's gonna vote for this guy to win. Well, that saves me from tribal council, but I'm sorry.
So dumb.
Oh, so Mateo and Dwight were not in the loop,
Yeah,
along with Monica.
Monica. Okay, nothing over here. Let's see who wins reward. My try, or yeah, your tribe
You're
wins reward. My bad. They win a grill with meats, vegetables, and spices,
oh nice. Do they win immunity?
and they also win immunity.
Nice.
Bring my tribe back again. Okay, George has a major meltdown. George and Robert have a small.
Oh, they're compare they're like whose life is more pathetic?
And George leaves the alliance.
He's like, I can't work with Robert. He's too much. He's too much.
He's just blowing up his game right now.
No.
Mateo worked hard. I can't be sorry. Mateo's probably trying now to get into that George spot where George
Yeah.
was previously.
It's like, oh, majority alliance. Maybe I can squeeze my way in.
Rochelle and Sheldon bond slightly. Constance has a major meltdown. Abed and Constance find something in common. That's it.
It's tough to say. It really is. I feel Al Bundy is super safe. I think Larry is safe.
Yeah, Abed is safe. He's in, I believe, both of those alliances, so he's probably good.
Because I know Constance wasn't in the numbers. Larry was in the numbers, and was it Lucy? But
Lucy
Lucy has an
was,
eye.
but she got votes against her. But yeah,
Yeah,
she got an idol, so I'm not sure. I think I'm just gonna say I'm gonna go Rosa. I'm gonna say Rosa. First vote goes to Rosa.
I swear to God.
Second vote goes to Lucy. Third vote goes to Rosa. Fourth vote goes to Rosa.
It's happening, isn't
Fifth
it?
vote goes to Rosa. And Rosa unanimously voted out.
Brantsteele, why are you doing this to me?
There goes all the competent people really on that tribe now are gone.
Oh
I
no.
guess he got Rochelle, but she was also just fighting with some people, so I don't know if we can really call her confident.
Well, I mean, the tribes are about to swap right now. There's going to
Yeah.
be three tribes of five. Things are definitely going to be mixed up, and the Kali, the people that are there, they're going to find themselves in new situations that they're going to have to navigate.
Okay. Let's see what the new tribes look like. The new Vanua tribe is Al Bundy, Blair Warner, George Costanza, Lucy Ricardo, and Monica Geller.
Okay.
New Takali tribe is Ava Coleman, Cleopatra, Dwight Schrute, Robert Barone, and Sheldon Cooper. So Sheldon's really on his own there. And the new Ikabula tribe is Abba Nadir, Constance Carmel, Larry David, Mateo Lee Wang, Michael Kyle Sr., and Rochelle.
Hmm. Interest. I feel I don't know how playable Ikabula is in that regard. Like I feel like for Takali, it would just be so easy to get rid of Sheldon. Same thing with the red tribe above.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like especially with Al just being who he is, and now in a team that is primarily women. Honestly, I could see Lucy teaming up with Blair and Monica and be like, Al's misogynistic. George is kind of a misogynist.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. Just get rid of them right now.
Yeah, make a little female alliance on that tribe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. Idol is hidden, so someone can find it over here. Let's see who wins immunity. The Takali tribe wins immunity, and the Ikabula tribe wins immunity.
This does
So
not look good for Al Bundy.
this is not good. This is Al Bundy going to be the guy who gets swap screwed?
Eh, I can definitely see it.
Okay.
Also, there's so many advantages on this trial.
Yeah. There's so much. Yeah.
No events occurred either. So,
Yeah. So they're just gonna go.
oh, what if Lucy plays her idol on Al?
Oh, that is possible. They could try to stick together if they really want. Ava and Sheldon bond strongly. And this alliance dissolves. And a new alliance forms between Ava, Robert, and Sheldon.
Well,
That's
that's
the majority on this tribe, I believe, because it's only
yeah.
five. Yeah, so they have the power. So Sheldon has got himself now potentially in the power position.
Unbeknownst to how.
Yeah, apparently Ava bonded with him, and that was good enough. And Mateo finds the Ikabula tribe hidden immunity idol.
Nice.
Nice. And Larry leaves the alliance, following in George's footsteps of leaving a good alliance.
Naturally. I think it's got to be Al.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Al unless Lucy has an idol play for him.
Only one way to find out.
Lucy uses the idol on George.
Why?
Wait, what? What is this shenanigans? First vote goes to George, does not count. Second vote goes to George, does not count. Third vote goes to Monica.
Oh no.
And Monica is voted out. Idol played incorrectly.
Yeah. Oh dang.
But
I mean,
Monica,
I think George is relieved. Maybe he was about to play it, and then Lucy did it. He's like, okay,
yeah.
all right. See, I didn't have it. It was her this whole time.
Well,
How did this?
somehow Al doesn't get voted for there though. Monica gives the legacy advantage to Larry.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Al, George, Lucy voted Monica. Blair and Monica voted George. So Blair is currently on the out. Okay. Nothing. A lot of nothing so far. Okay, let's see who wins. Takali Tribe wins reward. They win baked goods, iced tea, and milk. And the Vanua Tribe wins reward. They win chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
Does this fuel them for a win? Takali Tribe wins
Oh,
community, and Ikabula Tribe wins community. So Vanua Tribe going right back to tribal.
no. This is not good.
And no
And
event
no,
occurred. They're just like we can just go. We don't need to talk about it.
no.
No events occurred over here. And Abbott is impressing the rest of the team.
He's showing him his Jesus phone.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say Blair because
Yeah.
she was out of the votes. That's all we have to go on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say Blair as well. First vote goes to Al. Second vote goes to George.
Better be Al. Come on, no.
Third vote goes to Al. And Al Bundy is
Okay.
taken out. They
Because I'm
find
like, how do
nothing.
you it's like how can you let this man go this far?
Yeah, he definitely made it further than he had any right to. Uh, yeah, I think yeah, he only really got that far because my tribe was just a mess.
All right. This is if my math is right, the last one before the merge. So everyone really wants to make it this far, but
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see
yeah,
how
yeah.
it goes.
Okay, nothing there, nothing there. Okay, let's see who wins reward. The Coley tribe wins reward. They win a visit from a chef. And Vanua tribe wins reward. They win kebabs. They're
Now,
winning these rewards.
can that translate into an immunity win?
Yeah, I think they've won every reward they've been together, but can't win immunity so far. But can they win this one? No, they cannot. Ikamula tribe wins immunity, and the Takali tribe wins immunity.
Just it's George Costanza's luck. He's like, of course, I'll win this, but I can't win this. Why can't I?
God. Blair and Lucy have a major fight.
So I think that makes George the swing vote.
Yeah, yeah, he should actually be safe because if they're at each other's throats. And George arrested cancer restores energy.
He's like,
He's like
I don't have anything
outside
for you.
there.
Yeah,
Robert Verone finds the hidden immunity idol.
nice. Very nice.
Cleopatra and Sheldon bond slightly. I guess she thinks Sheldon might be Abraham Lincoln.
A little bit. I mean, he's Sheldon is tall, so it was like,
Yeah.
oh, Abe, nice to see you again.
Mateo has a major meltdown.
My God, maybe he's frustrated because he hasn't been able to play the game.
Yeah.
He wanted to stir the tea and stuff, but like nothing's going on.
Yeah, it's just the Vanilla tribe right now that I've been having to play. So yeah, I'm gonna say, I mean, does
Blair or
he
Lucy?
stick with his tribe or does he flip on Blair?
I can see either way.
Yeah, I think this is a 50-50 like coin toss for I honestly I think Jordan's literally gonna ask Jeff, like, hey, can I get that 50-50 coin and just have that decide?
Yeah.
First vote goes to Lucy. Second vote goes to Blair.
And who is it?
Blair voted off right before the merge.
Dang.
Okay, well, those two managed to make it through. Let's see this merge. Okay, who are the top contenders so far in the pre-merge section?
I gotta say George.
Yeah,
George, yeah, I mean, like he's been having the social game. He still survived. He had Lucy play an idol, so like I would imagine they don't have an alliance, but they're gonna be tight.
yeah,
Um, and we haven't really seen much of anyone else really.
yeah. I think I do have to say impressed that Sheldon was able to at least prevent himself from if they went
Yeah,
tribal, so give him kudos from that. But yeah, it has been uh like my tribe, they were all just chaotic, just voting people out pretty much with very little reasoning. And then it was the Vanilla tribe decimation. So we've only really seen like George and Lucy playing the game.
yeah. I'll give some credit to Mateo. I mean, he still has an idol, same with
Yeah.
Robert. So, it's still very early to tell. But yeah, I feel like now that everyone's on the same tribe, everyone will be playing.
Yeah.
Um, because pretty much everyone that was on the original Orange tribe that got swapped out of the Orange tribe, they've pretty much just had a huge break. They had like
Yeah.
6 episodes, or no, yeah, 6 episodes where they didn't have to worry. So they may be out of practice. They may
Yeah.
be out of,
Yeah. That's
you
like
know,
what? That's like 15 or 18 days of just like not having to actually play like hard.
exactly. They've just been chilling.
Yeah. Okay, look at all these advantages. We got three idols, and Larry's got the legacy advantage.
He can play it this
I don't
this
think he
episode.
can. He cannot.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
legacy at
yeah. That was
6?
a different season, I think, where they were like, well, you can do it earlier on, but MVGX was like it had to be final six.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. They tried to make it a little more powerful later on because it wasn't that good in the season, I think.
Yeah.
And Dwight Schrute wins the first individual immunity in a challenge called Fools in the Rain.
The actor playing him is Rainn Wilson, so
Yeah,
it just made sense.
that is the perfect challenge for him to win. Robert finds the reward steal. This allows his older to steal one reward.
My God.
Okay. Ava and Rochelle bond slightly. Ava and Sheldon have a small fight.
Uh-oh.
And a new alliance forms between Ava, Cleopatra, Constance, George, and Michael Kyle Sr.
We'll see if George actually sticks to this alliance.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Kyle's there, so that can help him out, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Who is going to be the random chaotic merge boot?
I think Rochelle, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um, I'm I'm gonna say I'm not happy about it, but I'm gonna say Ovid. I feel like he hasn't gotten a lot of screen time. Maybe it's just because he's not gonna be doing too much here.
I don't know. I wouldn't count him out just yet.
Mateo uses the hidden immunity idol.
He's been itching to play it.
Yeah, he's been dying to do this, so he's gonna do it. First vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Second vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Third vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Fifth vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Sixth vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Seventh vote goes to Mateo, does not count.
Officially played correctly.
Eighth vote goes to Mateo, does not count. Ninth vote goes to Mateo, does not count. 10th vote goes to Mateo, does not count.
He really wanted to get rid of this guy.
11th vote goes to Mateo does not count.
Would have been a. I'm excited. Was it a clean sweep where they were trying to get rid of him?
12 vote goes to Robert.
No.
Robert is voted as idled out with an idol of his own in his pockets.
What's going on? What's going on here, Jeff?
Oh my god, that is brutal.
Damn.
Lucy was the only one to vote with Mateo there.
That's rather unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Reward challenge. Okay. Group number one is Cleopatra, George, Larry, Lucy, Mateo, and Michael Kyle Sr. Group number two is Abed, Ava, Constance, Dwight, Rochelle, and Sheldon. And group number two wins reward. They win a trip to a poolside resort with a feast of burgers, fries, and cocktails. And Dwight wins immunity again. Bo Diddley.
He's like, no, all these games are child's plays. I do much worse on the farm.
Yeah, Dwight would be the person who would recreate all the challenges on his farm.
Yeah.
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 And Constance finds the hidden immunity idol.
Good honor.
Good on her. Ava and Dwight find something in common. Abed and Dwight have a small fight.
Oh no.
Ava and Sheldon find something in common.
Ava is really, for someone who doesn't like hanging out with nerds, she is really going for all the nerds.
Yeah, maybe she thinks that she can beat them in the end and
Yeah.
is trying to just get all of them near the end.
She would be like, they all look ugly. I'm beautiful. I'm sociable. Why wouldn't they vote for me and not, who
Yeah.
would vote for these nerds?
Lucy works hard at camp and becomes tired, so she's trying to get in the good graces because she was in the minority, even though she voted correctly and getting Robert out. It was just her and Mateo.
I think it could still be Mateo. I feel like after that idol play, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you got to take out Mateo, unless I mean maybe you split the votes between Lucy and Mateo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably a better plan.
Constance uses the hidden immunity idol. First vote goes to Lucy, played incorrectly from Constance. Second vote goes to Mateo. Third vote goes to Mateo. Fourth vote goes to Mateo. Fifth vote goes to Mateo. Sixth vote goes to Lucy. Seventh vote goes to Mateo. Eighth vote goes to Lucy. Ninth vote goes to Lucy. 10th vote goes to Lucy. 11th vote goes to Lucy.
Whoa.
And Lucy is voted out. Brantsteele, what a way to read those votes.
Maybe yeah, because I was like, oh, it's not gonna be a tie because of the, scroll bar and everything. And then just, way to make us surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock Brantsteele for giving us some shock value in our games.
Yeah, interesting. Well, there goes one of those Vanilla people. Now George is the only person from that Vanilla tribe. Okay. Abed, Ava, Constance, Larry, Mateo, Rochelle, and Sheldon voted Lucy. Cleopatra, Dwight, George, Lucy, and Michael voted Mateo.
Yeah, I think it was just like Lucy and Mateo knew it was one or the other, so they just
Yeah.
had to vote against each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Mateo's really got to do something to get this heat off of him because
Oh yeah.
I think he's still probably numero uno targets.
He's the only target that left so far in this early merge that we've seen them go after.
Yeah. Okay. Group number one is Dwight, Larry, Mateo, Rochelle, and Sheldon. Group number two is Abed, Ava, Cleopatra, George, and Michael. Constance does not participate and cannot win a reward, as group number one wins reward if they win a trip to a floating restaurant with pizza, chicken wings, and beer within viewing range of the camp and letters from home.
White wins again.
Yep. And Sheldon
Oh,
wins immunity.
this could be Mateo's chance to be like, hey, we might not have another chance to take Dwight out, so we
Yeah,
got to jump on that right
yeah,
now.
yeah. He's got to really throw Dwight under the bus here. And Dwight finds in immunity idol.
He's like, okay, I didn't win immunity, so now I have to find it. I found it.
Oh my
It's
god.
child's play.
Mateo is impressing the rest of the team. He's probably was pitching the idea of voting out Dwight, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Good job. I think that's the right move."
I think Mateo's just screwed.
Yeah. Rochelle and Sheldon have a major fight. Constance and Sheldon find something in common,
Hmm.
and Sheldon leaves the alliance with Abed and Rochelle.
All right. I still think
So
it's Mateo.
it's Mateo, or it might be Dwight if he doesn't play that idol.
I feel Dwight's got to play the idol though.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Dwight uses the
Yeah.
idol. Yep. First vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Second vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Third vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Fifth vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Sixth vote goes to Dwight, does not count.
Played correctly.
Seventh vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Eighth vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Ninth vote goes to Dwight, not count. 10th vote goes to Mateo.
Yeah.
And Mateo voted out, idled out. Ironic because he just did that a couple episodes back.
Yeah. Man.
Who voted with Dwight? Larry voted with Dwight.
I also want to point it out with Mateo. It is ironic that we are using Millennials versus Gen X, which is where his fiance, um, his
Yeah.
debut season.
Yep.
Little fun, parallel.
Exactly. Nice. Let's do a little mid-merge now assessments. How who are the standouts to you right now?
I'd say the top three right now are Ava. She's really playing up the social game, trying to line herself with people she normally wouldn't associate with. Dwight, because he's just winning out and like anytime he's just like totally dominating the immunity scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then George for his social game and kind of like standing with everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I think those are definitely the three front runners right now. Everyone else is a little more quiet. We
Yeah.
haven't really been seeing their games yet. Okay, Rochelle finds the hidden immunity idol.
Means Dwight cannot rely on that.
Yeah, he's got to win some immunities. Okay, let's proceed. Uh, Ava, Rochelle, and Sheldon, group number one. Group number two is Cleopatra, Constance, and Michael Cowell Sr. Group number three is Dwight, George, and Larry. What an interesting grouping that is. And Abed does not participate, but automatically wins the reward. They're just like, oh, we feel bad for you, Abed. Here
Yeah.
you go. And group number three wins reward. They everyone to the local area followed by a survivor piece.
Dwight Schrute.
He's killing it right now. And Dwight wins immunity.
Even if he gets voted out next episode, he's made off all stars at this point.
Yeah. Rusty Gates, he heard the name of the challenge and was like, hey, I got some Rusty Gates on my farm. There's no way I can lose this one.
No. He was like, this is simple. This is all child's play for me.
Yeah. Dwight and Sheldon have a minor disagreement. Not good for Sheldon.
No.
Constance and George find something in common. And George leaves the alliance.
Again?
He's wishy-washy.
I'd say could be George or it could be Sheldon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Sheldon.
I'd say more likely, yes.
First vote goes to Larry. Second vote goes to Sheldon. Third vote goes to Rochelle. Fourth vote goes to Sheldon. Fifth vote goes to Rochelle. Sixth vote goes to Rochelle. Seventh vote goes to Sheldon. Eighth vote goes to Rochelle. Ninth vote goes to Sheldon. One vote
Vote
left.
left.
And Sheldon is the
Dang.
most.
Man, how'd this go about?
Yeah, so Abed, Constance, Dwight, and Larry and Rochelle voted Sheldon. Ava, George, Michael, and Sheldon voted Rochelle. And Cleopatra, completely on the out, voted Larry.
Cleo's just like, they didn't bother to tell her.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay. Larry wins reward and shares it with George, Ava, and Dwight. And this is the loved ones, so they all get their loved ones to come out on the island.
Nice, nice.
And Dwight wins another immunity. Is that four? I think he's at four now.
Yeah, yeah, that is his fourth.
Yeah. Okay. Abed and Dwight find something in common. And that's it.
Oh.
I think we might see someone who got votes last time go home. So I'm leaning right now towards either a Larry or a Rochelle votes.
I agree with that.
Potentially a Cleo because she was super out, but I don't think they're viewing her as a threat. So I could see them just stick with who was already getting votes.
Yeah, I see that.
Rochelle uses the hidden immunity idol.
So it can't be her.
Can't be her. Not looking good for Larry. First vote goes to Rochelle, does not count. Second vote goes to Rochelle, does not count. Third vote goes to Rochelle, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Rochelle, does not count. Fifth vote goes to Rochelle, does not count.
Play correctly again. Like,
Sixth vote goes to Rochelle, does not count. And Larry
oh
David is
no.
out. Oh,
Dang.
dang.
At the rate I think we've had three correct idol plays in this seat. Like, I think we're going for a record here.
Yeah. Look at this. Larry gives the legacy advantage to George.
It's rather fitting.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Now he has an idol and a legacy advantage.
Yeah. Um, so Rochelle, so Ava, Cleopatra, Dwight, George, Larry, and Michael voted Rochelle. Abed, Constance, and Rochelle voted Larry. Okay. Yeah. George has got some artillery right now.
And there's another idol hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find it.
Rochelle wins immunity.
That means Dwight's about to find it.
Wow, and Dwight didn't win one called Wizard Staff. That is also right up
The
there.
irony.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God.
Dwight might be the best player to have ever played this game.
Wow, he is finding idols perfectly, like right on time. He is winning immunities.
He's like, oh, it's already hidden back in camp. Then I don't need to win immunity because I will just find the idol.
Oh my God.
I think he just came out here just to prove how easy it is to win Survivor, kind of like Rick Sanchez way back when we did when
Yeah.
on his season that he won.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, look at this. I can do this pretty much in my sleep.
Yeah.
Cleopatra and Michael have a small fight. Abed and Cleopatra bond strongly. Cleopatra leaves the alliance though, as Ava rests at camp for core energy.
A lot is going around. I don't know. I feel like Cleo might be in trouble.
Yeah,
Rochelle is safe, so she got votes, so she can't be voted. So maybe someone that voted with her.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I'm gonna say Cleo for now.
yeah. I think that's a good pick. Okay, and Dwight uses his idol. He has not been eligible to get voted for since episode 1.
This man.
First vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Second vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Third vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Dwight, does not count.
Played correctly.
Fifth vote goes to Dwight, does not count. Sixth vote goes to Dwight, does not count. And Cleopatra voted out.
Man, that's 4 correct idol plays.
Yeah, yeah. Ava voted with Dwight. And then everyone else voted Dwight. So
All right, we are at
last
the
episode before the finale.
yep. Well, second half of the final. It's also ironic because in the two-parter episode, what's his name? Mike? Will was a high schooler who was playing Survivor that got eliminated in this episode.
Mhm.
And what happened to Cleo, who is a high schooler from Clone High?
Yeah.
The parallels are insane.
Yeah. This season's operating on a different level right now. Okay. If George can get through this round, he is pretty much guaranteed Final Four because
We'll
he's got
see.
legacy advantage, and then he can play an idol at 5. Okay, immunity and immunity. Pinball
This
win this time.
this man, this man.
Jeez, what is going on with Blights? And
Guaranteed final five.
oh my god.
Dwight was like, yeah, I wasn't used in the pre-merge a lot, but then he was like, okay, you guys didn't mention my names, Ryan and Joe. I'm about to show you. I'm about to prove you guys wrong in spades.
Jeez, this is ridiculous. All of it is impressing the rest of the team, and that's all we're getting from him.
I can see Rochelle going because
Yeah.
they weren't able to vote for her the last two.
Yeah, she did start building up a bit of a resume where I could see if you can't take out Dwight's, I think Rochelle might be the next one you go for.
All right.
No one stands. First vote goes to George.
No.
Second vote goes to Rochelle. Third vote goes to Rochelle. Fourth vote goes to Rochelle.
Okay.
Fifth vote goes to George.
Oh,
And Rochelle
yeah,
is voted out. Finally
man.
going out. Abed voted with Rochelle. So he might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, especially since, all right, let's talk about these people.
Yeah.
Dwight, I feel like, just wins this game.
Yeah.
Like, unless he
He has
gets,
to get there still.
he has an idol. He's been winning challenges whenever he needs to. Uh, he has been playing such a great game so far. Um, I feel like in second place it's George, and
Mhm.
then like by association, Michael, then Ava, and then between Constance and Abed, I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but like like Dwight is just casts so much attention on himself, and we've lost so many people. It's like it's kind of like the Dwight show right now, and
Yeah.
everyone else is on along for the ride.
Yeah, this almost feels like Edge of Extinction, Rick Devens right now, of in terms
Yeah,
of just so much content is just all around Dwight. And then other people are getting a little bit of stuff, but like who cares about that when we can be focusing on what Dwight's shenanigans are doing? Uh,
yeah,
I do think Abed is a scary person for a potential final three because he has had actually good social relationships with a lot of people. And I could see potentially if it's like him, Constance, and say Michael Cow Sr. and Michael Cow, a lot of the game gets kind of put onto George. I could
yeah,
see a potential Abed doing something there, but yeah, I think it's very much Dwight George right now. I
yeah.
actually think Ava's third, in my opinion.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. Okay. So George is obviously going to use his legacy advantage this round. Okay. Who wins immunity?
It's got to be Dwight. Yep.
Wins immunity. And he shares it with Abed and Ava, the steak dinner.
So not only is George guaranteed Final Four, but so is Dwight. That is two spots right there.
Yeah. Okay. Constance has a major meltdown.
I would too at this point.
Yeah, the game's not looking great for if you're not Dwight or George, I think.
I think I think it's either Constance or Abed.
Yeah. Um I do think that we could see an Ava flip. I think she is, as I said, a potentially strong player that you maybe take out here to kind
True.
of
Has
because
she gotten any votes
I think
against her?
Constance are great to bring to the end. Especially Constance, I think.
Yeah. All right, I see that. All right.
George uses the legacy advantage. Dwight
Naturally.
uses the idol on Abed.
Was it played correctly though?
First vote goes to George, does not count.
He did not. Oh wait, we
Yeah,
have to go through George's first.
yeah. Second vote goes to Abed, does not count. Third vote goes to Abed, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Abed, does not count.
Fifth correct idol play this season.
And Ava is idled out of the game.
You called it, man.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go down like that, but
When
geez.
the math was wrong, but you still get the right answer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that does mean Dwight won't have an idol for Final Five, though. So he has to win immunity or find the idol again.
I can see him win. I can see him winning it.
Mhm.
I mean, I can see either or.
Yeah.
We know Dwight is like he was like, no, I'm starting off season or series 5 and showing you guys how it is done. And
Mhm.
this is he has come to play, and
Yeah.
man,
He's trying to do what Regina George did in series two of just like setting this like
the standard.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ava, George, and Michael voted Abed. Abed, Constance voted Ava, and Dwight voted George.
All right. Finale part 2.
Yep.
It's to lock people into Final Four. Granted, this is millennials versus Gen X, so this is before the fire making challenge. So still to play for, but getting the 4, that's one less that's one step closer to final. You know,
Yeah. Okay. Let's see who wins Final Five immunity. George Costanza.
so he can play his idol for someone else. Now
Yeah.
George is kind of selfish.
Yeah.
He has been in a strong alliance with Michael Kyle Sr. the entire time, so I can see him playing it, but I can also see George keeping it to himself.
Yeah. Okay. And no one finds the idol.
Oh no, is this where Dwight goes?
Michael has a major meltdown, and George is completely worn out, but is not giving up. Dwight has to go home here. He is the most logical choice from all of the other four need to get rid of him. Okay. George uses the
Yep.
item on Michael. First vote goes to Michael, does not count. Second vote goes to Constance. Third vote goes to Abed. Fourth vote goes to Dwight. One
One
vote
vote
left,
left.
and Dwight
No,
is voted out.
he should have kept his idol, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he should have let Abed go, use his idol here, and then try to win a Final Four immunity.
man.
He overplayed. He saw the move. He saw a big move to make an idol play, and he took it. But he should not have. It was just thinking about making a move.
Was the wrong decision.
So Constance and George made the move against Dwight. So I think that's a big feather in their caps for being
Yeah.
able to take out the biggest threats.
Now George is the guy to beat.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Hey,
This is the
let's see
last
what
one.
happens here. Immunity. Abed wins final immunity.
I think you take out George here. You have to take out George.
Abed has a major meltdown after winning.
He doesn't like.
Constance and Michael Kyle Sr.'s alliance dissolve. And Abed joins the alliance with George.
Well, or this happens.
Yeah, so Constance, I feel bad for you.
Oh, dang. Well, I mean, this is pretty straightforward, or it should be.
Uh, First vote goes to Constance. Second vote goes to Michael. Third vote goes to Michael.
Oh no.
Fourth vote goes to Constance. We are tied between Constance and Michael. First votes goes to Constance. Second vote
Okay,
goes to Michael.
fire.
We are going to fire between Constance and Michael. Winner goes to the end. Loser is the final jury member. Constance, the tribe has spoken, and there it goes. Michael Kyle Sr. joins the final three.
All right, it's got to be George. It's got to be George who wins this at this point. I
Yeah,
am curious why make an alliance of three if you're not going to follow through with it? Why gamble?
yeah. I don't know. Maybe Abed was hoping to get into some goodwill in case Michael Kyle lost it, and but
Yeah,
he's going to vote for George regardless. So
I feel it's George, Abed, and Mike. I feel like Michael has played such a similar game with George, especially, well, specifically in the merge portion. But
mhm.
like George has like he is the sole survivor from, that one tribe. He's dealt with so much. And Dwight's not here. And so far, who has the best resume? Him. And I feel like Abed's social game will probably garner a few votes, but unfortunately, I don't think Michael Kyle gets a win here unless there's something we're not seeing.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely, I think, George's game. Let's see what happens here. First vote goes to Abed. Second vote goes to Michael. Third vote goes to George. Fourth vote goes to George. Fifth vote goes to Abed. Sixth vote goes to Abed. Seventh vote goes to George. Eighth vote goes to George. Ninth vote and winner in a 5-3-1 vote is George Costanza.
Something finally went right for this man.
Yeah, it all worked out for him here. So Ava, Constance, Larry, Lucy, Mateo, and Sheldon voted George. Dwight, Robert, and Rochelle voted Abed, and Cleopatra voted Michael.
She didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, she seemed kind of out of it this game. She
Yeah.
did not know what was happening most of the time.
All right. Who won fan favorite?
Cleopatra is the fan favorite one.
How's she pretty, isn't she?
Oh my god, that's that popularity contest right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Man.
yeah, look at all these idol plays that happen throughout the season.
Was it 5 or 6?
One,
Correctly.
two, three, four, five correct idol plays.
Man. Wow.
Yeah,
That may be a record, guys.
yeah. That's I know that there's one season where it was like every other episode was idol plays.
We'll
Um,
see.
yeah, but yeah, George Costanza, congrats on making it to the end and winning. You
So
know,
that was the opposite of Pat,
yeah, yeah,
Man,
exactly. Okay. Dwight Schrute
dominating so
dominating.
much.
Yeah. George Costanza, most strategic, followed by Larry David, followed by Michael Kyle Sr.
Nice.
Dwight with a six.
And who who got the medal? Sorry. So Susie got 0 votes.
She correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, Mateo had received the most votes throughout the game.
All right.
Hey,
Well, that was it. Good gosh, I think that finale or that merge with Dwight's thing, like a legend was born. I'm happy that George Costanza won.
yeah,
Like, I think this was a good start to series 5.
exactly. Yeah, I think this is definitely a good one. Yeah, I'm excited to see if the rest of the seasons can have
Hold up.
hold
Hold
up to
up.
this because it's definitely a strong showing.
Agreed. All right, guys. Well, uh, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Let us know what you thought. And yeah, we will see you in the next one.
If adios.
Peace.